Hi, my name is Stuart Richardson, and these are tutorials on how to create, produce, and edit 360 content. Today we're going to be using Photoshop 2018 with 360 photos. So in the last tutorial, we learned how to stitch a 360 photo using the Insta360 Pro Stitcher. You just drag them in, and you send them where you want them to export. And then we put them in Lightroom, converted DNGs to JPEGs, and once you have a JPEG, then you can throw it into Photoshop. So today is where I'm going to show you what to do when you have a JPEG and how to edit the photo, and I'm going to talk about some things you should know when using 360 in Photoshop. So what I have here is a basic Photoshop window here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a photo. Let me take one of my old ones here. Not stitched. The color corrected ones. So it loads. So this right here is a photo that I sent through Lightroom, changed up the colors a little bit, and now we can edit it. So on first glance, this half of the picture is going to be like what you see when you're facing forward, and this half is what you're going to see if you turn around. So some little things off the bat, we see this little bag here. We can see the tripod in the photo here, and some other stuff on the sides that we want to get rid of. So I'm going to teach you how to get this into a kind of virtual reality workspace. What we're going to go to up here at the top is the 3D window here. We're going to come down to spherical panorama, and we're going to do new panorama layer from selected layers. So right now we have the background layer selected down here, and we click new panorama from selected layer. It's gonna chew through that for a second. So now when using the move tool, or V is the keyboard shortcut, now we can look around at this 360 panorama, and so we see everything we saw from earlier. We see this dude, we see some stuff down there, and we see this dude and the bag and stuff. So this is right now I'm going to show you how to take out this tripod and this bag, and we're going to do two separate ways to get rid of things. So when you need to get rid of something in the picture, there are multiple ways to do it, and each way is better for a specific thing. So right here, this tripod, this isn't like really in the way of anything too much, so we can get away with not doing as much work. So what we're going to do is we're going to the spot healing brush tool. Right click on this the seventh option down, and click on spot healing brush tool, or it should already be selected. So what this gives you is a brush that you can resize up here, or with the bracket keys you can make it bigger or smaller. But what you can do with this is, if we click and drag over the tripod here, because it's fairly small and on a neutral background, if it chews through that, it looks basically normal. Like nothing is really like out of the ordinary there. So now if we go back over it, we can kind of look over, and there's no tripod artifacts left over. So that's good. We got rid of the tripod. Now this bag is on a piece of terrain that is a little more hard to deal with, because we have this stripe here. This stripe goes from here. It has a little bit of shadow on it. So we need to probably use the lasso tool, cut out some chunks around it, and manually fill this with the content from around. So we're gonna take some of the lasso here. We're going to do Control C, or edit copy over here. Control C, and we're going to do Control V, or paste. And what that has done is it added a new layer. If I go to V, or the move tool up here, and we see we have that little piece cut out that I just cut out. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to click and kind of drag it over. And what I just did is Control T, or edit transform, free transform. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of shape this. I'm going to hold down the control, and then it's going to let me move the binds a little bit from this. So I'm going to kind of mess with this a little bit, kind of get where I need to go, and look at that. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to click enter, and so it's not perfect, but we're going in the right direction here. Over here, I might want to maybe brighten up some things. The dodge tool will probably help with that. This kind of just lighten things up, so we can blur that a little bit together. We use the eraser with some low hardness and a little bit bigger. The hardness if we turn the hardness to 0, that will make the edge of the brush really soft, and then it can kind of fade together. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to turn off this thing I put up here real quick, and I'm going to use the same tool I used with the tripod to kind of have a jumping point, so we still have some of that color. But when we put it back, this back on, sorry, I did the wrong thing there. When we erase this, then it won't be as bad as it once was. Now, when we get rid of that, looks good as new. Yeah. So now we have this stripe. We repaired it. So what I'm gonna do now is, so when we keep looking around, that's still right there in the middle, and we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to right click on this layer and click merge down. And what that will do is it will paste this that layer onto the photosphere, and now it is stuck like that. So that is some basic editing in 360. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this, because you need to export it in a certain way. If you export it just like this, then it will only get what is on the screen rather than the entire photosphere. So you need to go back up to 3D, spherical panorama again, and export panorama. So if we just go back over here to tutorial, I'm going to do this, Photoshop tutorial. Make sure it's a JPEG. Most VR things need JPEGs. You might be able to get away with a PNG, but PNGs are bigger. JPEG is nice and small for anything that you need to do. Also, if we're going to be uploading this to a VR headset, always end your files in _360, so that the headset recognizes it as a photosphere rather than just a normal photo to view. So we can click save on that, and we can close out of this picture and go back over to where we were earlier, Photoshop Tutorial 360. And now we have the same photo, but the bag isn't there and the tripod isn't there. Good as new. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.